You spent years building someone else's wealth. What if you spent the next 5 years building your own? Most people think wealth means earning a bigger salary, but I think there's a lot more to it. Now, when you work as an employee, all that time, skills, expertise, and experience you put in, you get paid a salary for. You might work really hard and you might get good pay rises, you might get bonuses and promotions. However, you're always limited in what you can earn based on what that business is prepared to pay you. And more importantly, you are limited based on the fact that you have to work to earn that money. And all that time and that energy and all your experience and skills are going into building this business, which is an asset. But that's an asset that someone else owns. Now, what I get really excited about is what if you buy a business and put that time, your skills, your expertise, your knowledge into building your own asset. And the really exciting thing here is then you can have a business that earns profit and can pay you for your time, skills, expertise, just as you do as you're an employee. However, at the same time, you're building this asset that you can build up and hopefully sell in the future for a lot more money. Now, the opportunity with buying a business is really large because of the way a business is valued. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of valuations, but just at a very high level, most small and medium-sized businesses are valued based on profit multiplied by what we call a multiplier. So you have a profit times a multiplier. So if you have a business earning $500,000 and the multiplier you purchase it at is 3, that business is valued at $1.5 million. Now, the exciting thing is because you have 2 factors, you can influence both these factors and they are being multiplied. So that means the improvement you can make is exponential. Say you build that business over time, you get extra revenue, you might put in more products into the business, you get more customers, you might improve your profit margins by as you get bigger, you can negotiate better pricing, you can get more efficient, you can get your overheads down as you get more efficient. Lots and lots of ways that you can build the profitability of a business. So let's say over time you build that profit instead of $500,000, it's now $750,000. Now the other factor in evaluation, the multiple, you can also influence. So as a business gets larger, can scale more, there's more opportunities, it's less dependent on its owner, that multiple can easily move from a 3 to a 4. So now instead of 500,000 times 3 at a valuation of $1.5 million, you can make improvements in that business and grow it, and now say the profit's 750,000 at a multiple of 4, and that business is now worth $3 million. You've just doubled it. Now these kind of benefits are just not possible as an employee, or very unlikely. That it's not common that an employee can earn another $1.5 million by working extra hard for a couple of years. And the extra bonus, which I think people don't truly appreciate with a business, is it's still earning the profit in that year. When you're taking the business from earning $500,000 to $750,000, it's still earning that profit. So it's still able to pay you for all your time and expertise. It's able to pay you dividends for your investment that you've made as a shareholder. Plus, it's increasing in value to later sell for this large gain. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and that potential to make significant life-changing wealth is very real. Obviously, there are risks involved, and you need to make sure you buy a really good business and you go through a really thorough process of finding the right business. You need to make sure you get a really good offer and get a good price for that business and get good terms. But if you can find a good business and negotiate a really great deal, there is a really substantial opportunity here that is quite hard to find anywhere else, and extremely hard to find if you're just working as an employee. Now, some people think this opportunity is just out there for those people that have done business degrees or MBAs, or they've had businesses before, or they come from family money and they've got a lot of money behind them. But actually, in my experience, the most people I've seen do this are just everyday normal people like you and I. I've had early childcare teachers buy the early childcare centres that they work in. So they go from being an employee to owning their business. One of the ones I had then went on to own it, buying another one. Once she got really good at building this one business, this one childcare centre, she then bought another one, and then she could just replicate, and she went on to owning 5 of them. I've had clients that have been in one industry building their career for years and years, and then they decide they want to buy a business and they don't mind what industry it's in. They just want a really, really good asset to buy that's a really strong base that they know they can build and grow. And they move into entirely different industries that they've never worked in before, but they're buying an existing business that already has the revenue, it's already got cash flow, it's already got customers, typically we've got customers, they've already got suppliers, you've already got all the contracts in place, you know who you're buying from, you know how you operate, you've got systems in place, you've got a location if that's required, you've got all the equipment you need, and you're starting from this really solid base that you can then grow from. And I've seen many everyday people, and in most cases, most of my clients or the businesses that I've worked in and the shareholders and investors can be everyday people who decide that they want to buy a business and build this asset to grow, to create significantly more wealth for themselves and their families, give them much more opportunities. A lot of them end up retiring earlier, live with a lot more financial freedom than they ever would have been able to have as an employee only. So that's what I'm excited about. It is a process that is a new thing to learn, that is very possible to learn, and I've worked for years helping people as clients doing this, lots of clients buying and selling businesses now with the process. I've also worked as a CFO in businesses that we have then grown, and then we've got investment from private equity or external investments. And then I've also worked for lots of private equity owned businesses and private owned businesses where we have been on this very strong growth path of buying lots of businesses. So I've been doing it for years and years, and one of the things I found is then when I work with people and we go through this process and I explain them and talk it through them and we go through it all together, and how many people go, oh, it's actually not that hard. And it's not that hard, and it is very easy for people to view it as something that is a bit out of their reach. There's lots of jargons, they don't even know where to start. What if I get the wrong business? What if I overpay? What if I miss something? And those are all risks, and those are all very important things. But what I'm passionate about is taking something that I've done for years and years and years with lots of different people, bought and sold lots of different businesses, and there are lots of things to learn, but it is actually just a process, and you start here and there's certain questions to ask, things to consider, things to think about, but it can be broken down into very digestible chunks that you can learn and work through and go through. And as I said, lots of normal everyday people like you and I have done it and had life-changing results for themselves and for their families. So it's very exciting. So that's what I'm starting to do is help teach people, take all the learnings I've had from doing it for years and bring it down into helping people what's the process of buying a business look like, and then what is that process of building a business? How do we build a business to increase its value, make it as attractive as possible to buyers in the future when we come ready to sell, and then make that process of selling as easy as possible when we're ready to do that. And then on the other side is the process of selling your business. So the opposite of buying, you then go to sell, and what are the key things to think about there, and how do we make that process as easy as possible, but also to get the best result for you. So if that sounds interesting to you, and if you've liked what I've talked about, I'd love for you to follow along, subscribe to the channel, follow me on social media, and if you have any comments or feedback or questions, I always love to hear those. So please put those below, and Thank you for being on this journey with me. I'm excited and it's great to have you here.